Shalom Aleichem. Mishnah Yomi continues for day 36 of the Omer. Yesterday we started chapter 8 of Sotah, Meshuach Milchama. We're on the third Mishnah therein. Ve'elu she'enan chozrin. These people do not return from the battlefield. They are not exempt. Habone beit shar. He's built a gatehouse. It's not an actual house for dwelling. A chsodra is like a colonnade or entranceway to the house, or mirpeset. Mirpeset is like a porch, a patio, or a gallery outside the second floor. So these are structures, but people don't actually dwell in them, so they don't count as a bite, and the verse says you need a bite of some kind. Though we saw yesterday, even a storage house or a barn was enough of a bite to return from war. And I think really the idea here is that a Jew building up Eretz Yisrael, and building it in a way to be used, whether it's used by animals to increase the output of the land, or used for storage because you're harvesting more grain. Building up Eretz Yisrael is just as important as being there in the war. And obviously, if there's a real situation where we need everybody in the war, then they need to go to war. But in a situation where exemptions apply, and we'll talk more about this in Mishnah Zayin coming up, but building Am Yisrael and Eretz Yisrael is as vital to our nation as fighting in the army itself. Now the Mishnah continues with other people who are not exempt. Hanotea arba ilane machol. He planted 4 fruit trees, but only 4. You need 5 to count as a vineyard equivalent. The hamisha ilane srak, or it's 5 trees that are barren. They're not fruit bearing. This also comes up in the psukim about war in Devarim. They say famously, ki adam eitz sadeh, is a person a tree. And it's in reference to the fact the army's not supposed to cut down fruit trees to use them to make trenches and siege machinery and towers and the like, because they're fruit trees. And even though they might be in enemy territory, you don't want to damage the production. Now the Mishnah continues, he had divorced a wife, and now he's remarrying this wife. So it's not something new that's building something new in Klal Yisrael. Almana l'kohen gadol, a widow marrying the high priest. Grusha chalutz l'kohen hedyot, a divorcee or halutze for a regular kohen. Mamzer netina Yisrael, a unfit person with tainted lineage, or a natin, a givoni to a regular Jewish person, or bat Yisrael mamzer natin, or vice versa. Lo haya choser. They stay in the army and they go to battle. They don't go back. Even though they just got married, these are not marriages that we want them to go back to. The marriage is legally binding, but as we saw by drinking the Sotah itself a few prakim ago, these are situations where she wouldn't drink the Sotah water to be tested if she had been warned and secluded, because we don't want these marriages to continue. We want them to end because they are illegal. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Afa Bone Vayit Al Mechono Lo Haya Choser. Rabbi Yehuda adds someone who rebuilt his house on the same exact foundation. So it's not something new that's adding to the residential properties and the settlement of Eretz Yisrael. He's just rebuilding what he already had. Rabbi Eliezer adds Afa Bone Vayit Levenim B'Sharon Lo Haya Choser. Says even someone who built a house of bricks in the Sharon region, apparently the bricks there were not very well lasting, and it wasn't meant to be a permanently livable structure, so it doesn't count as a real bite. Mishnah Doled, the Elu, and this category, She'ein Zalzei Mimkaman, they don't even leave their place, meaning they stay home, they don't go out to the battlefield to hear the talk and then get exempted. They don't get drafted in the first place. Bonavite the Chanocho. He built a new house, and the house is ready to go, but he hasn't moved in yet. So it's the first year, or he just moved in, and it's within the first year of residency. He's settling into the new house. Or not a kerem v'chilolo. He's planted a vineyard, and the first 3 years have elapsed. Now he's in the 4th year, which is Keren Revai, which again is like Meiser Sheni. They have to take it to Yerushalayim and consume it there. And then from after that year, it's Chulin. So within the 4th year is similar to the first year of a house. Hanosiyat Rusato. He's married the wife he was engaged to, not a previous wife, so it's a new marriage. Hakonis et Yevimto, or he brings in his Yevama, the widow of his deceased brother, as we discussed in Yevamot in great detail. Shnemar Naki, and the source for these exemptions, Naki Yihye Leveto Shana Achat. He will be clean. Naki is clean, but it means he'll be free of any burdens and responsibilities. Leveto, to be available to his house and his new wife, Shana Achat, for a full year. Leveto ze veto. His house means his house. Yihye, he will be ze karmo. This includes a vineyard. V'simach et ishto, the verse continues, he will gladden his wife, za ishto, asher lakach, those two extra words, havit yivimto, even his brother's widow who he's marrying in Yibam. And the Mishnah explains for this category, Einan misapkim my mazon, they're not required to send food and water to the front lines. Einan mitaknim the drochim, they're not required to go out and fix the roads and be involved in logistics. They're literally supposed to stay home, as the Torah says, and fix up the house and the vineyard and the family and the wife. And this is a concept in Judaism called Shana Rishona. The first year of a marriage is considered critically important, as obviously the Torah exempts this new family from serving in war. The first year, Shana Rishona, is considered very important to lay the foundation for a strong and healthy marriage. And again, I think this fits with the concept that in the Torah ideology, building Am Yisrael, building productive and loving families is just as vital as serving in the army and actually fighting in the war.